Hello there, friends. Today I'm in the beautiful Forsyth Park. Such a beautiful day for a walk, and I will be continuing talk from Harvard Business Review's press on delegating work. Here is the book. In the previous two talks, we spoke about why to delegate, what is the purpose of delegating, what are the benefits of delegating. We spoke about foundation for building a good environment for delegating and addressing all of the concerns that many of us have when delegating tasks to juniors. In the previous talk, I shared some tips that the authors of this book shared about preparing for delegating, choosing what to delegate and what not to delegate, the reasons for delegating, identifying the skills to delegate, identifying the right person, and also, critically, I think, identifying the level of authority that you're going to be giving your junior, whether they can take action, whether they need to come back and report to you, whether they make recommendations, etc., etc. If you haven't listened to the previous talks, please do go and listen to those. They provide an excellent basis and background for the discussion today, which is going to be a very brief one, I'll add before I get started, and it is entitled Making the Assignment. So this is when you first approach your junior, approach your employee, and actually make the assignment that you are going to be delegating to them. With no further ado, let me get started. Making the assignment. For your delegation to be successful, you must thoroughly describe the job and your expectations to the person who will be taking on the work. Take this employee's point of view as you communicate the scope and authority of the assignment to make sure you're transferring all the necessary information to them. Equally important to the success of your delegated work is how well you communicate the scope and authority of the assignment to the other members of your team, not only the employee that you are delegating to the work. Now, the authors share a section called Discuss the Work with Your Staff Member, and they describe setting up a preparatory meeting with them and providing several key points. They state, spend some time going over the details of the job, ideally in a face-to-face meeting. To gain trust and avoid misunderstandings, discuss all aspects of the assignment. Clarify your specific expectations and get the employee's commitment to the project. Remember, your employee is not as knowledgeable as you are, and so go overkill. Give them as much information as they need. Don't drown them in information if they're struggling to deal with it, but definitely share even the most basic and mundane details, because they're still picking things up. And in this face-to-face meeting, the authors describe 8 points, which I shall now share with you. This is what the 8 points that you'll want to cover in this important face-to-face meeting. Actually, what I'll do is I'll share the titles and then read the quick blurb. So, the 8 things are: number 1, describe the task, project, or function. Number 2, introduce background material. Number 3, identify the resources and support available. Number 4, establish a feasible timeline with agreed upon deadlines. Number 5, explain the level of authority that you are granting. Number 6, agree upon standards of performance, measures of success, and levels of accountability. Number 7, determine a process for follow-up and feedback. Number 8, discuss your possible involvement. Those are the 8 points to discuss in that meeting, and I'll share a quick blurb about each of them. Number 1, describe the task project, or function. Clearly state the purpose of the work. Explain how it fits into the big picture for your team, your unit, and your organization. Now, this may be obvious to you from your place in the hierarchy, but it may not be obvious to your employee. Number 2, introduce background material. Review any reading, spreadsheets, data, or other materials or content that the employee will need to complete the work. Number 3, excuse me. Identify the resources and support available. Determine what support the employee will need from you. If special training or coaching is needed, discuss how it will take place. Explore the need for additional materials and/or staff to meet the goals of the assignment. Number 4, establish a feasible timeline and agreed upon deadlines. Get your employees' buy-in to make sure the timeline is achievable. Consult the schedules and availability of other key players and factor in your employees' existing responsibility. It's an obvious task for management, but bears repeating, and it bears discussion in the face-to-face meeting. Your employees should know that you are also making considerations on their behalf. Number 5, explain the level of authority that you're granting. Use examples to establish clear guidelines for when the employee can act independently and when consultation with you is required. Number 6, agree upon standards of performance, measures of success, and level of accountability. Set firm metrics for quality, time, cost, and any other variables. Underscore the employee's accountability in meeting these standards. Make sure they know. Number 7, determine a process for follow-up and feedback. Establish a protocol for regular progress reports, including their frequency. Every day, every other day, every Wednesday, weekly, monthly, etc., etc. And method. Is this going to be an email? Is this going to be a staff meeting? Is this going to be a one-on-one with you? Set up all those parameters for how you are going to be getting all this ongoing feedback. And last point, discuss your possible involvement. Specify how and when you will become involved if the expected goals of the task, project, or function are at risk, or if other major problems arise. Keep in mind, your employee needs to have this discussion with you. This goes into everyone's personalities. There are some personalities who problems will arise and they will not react, they will not respond. They will just let it run through until it hits your desk. And there are some personalities who are, let's say, a little bit anxious, a little bit on edge, and any small thing that happens, any small hiccup, they will come running to you. So make sure you have the discussion so that way you can have an effective monitoring and feedback period. And you are alerted when you want to be alerted, not when their personality comes into play. Continuing, the authors say, outlining the details of the work to be done and how and when you'll communicate about the assignment will set your delegation up for success. Talking with your staff member ahead of time about how you'll monitor the project and deliver any feedback will make your role seem less intrusive once the work is underway. Beautiful music is playing here in Forsyth Park. Authors continue. Follow up your meeting with a memo outlining the key points of your discussion. Or better yet, they advise, ask your employee to prepare a summary memo. This will give you an idea of how well your employee understands the assignment. And also, I will add my own little philosophy in here. It will also give you an idea of how good you are at explaining things to your employee. Communication is a two-way street. You cannot blame your employee for not understanding if you are not explaining it well. So you have to take a little bit of responsibility in this as well. The next section regarding making the assignment. Communicate with your team. Take the lead in communicating to your team the scope of the delegated assignment, plus any relevant information. Your clear and transparent message will deflect resentment and competitiveness on the part of your other staff members. Your forthright attitude and openness to discussion will help build their trust in you. So consider this example. All right, children, story time. To support your projections for long-term office space requirement, you've assigned Michael, a friendly and outgoing junior employee on your team, the task of collecting information on the work preferences of each person in your group. Now, key point they raise. If you fail to communicate Michael's role in this project before Michael begins going around asking everyone personal questions, such as whether they like to work on-site or off-site, whether they like to work remote, whether they are more productive with scheduled hours or flex time, whether they feel the need for scheduled staff meetings, etc. If you don't communicate that to everyone before Michael starts asking these questions, you could inadvertently cause unfounded rumors and disruption within your team. As a manager, you do not want rumors, you do not want disruption in your team. So, with the assignment made and communicated to the team, it's time to monitor the work. You will need to give support and feedback without micromanaging. A fine line you'll need to learn to walk in the next chapter. And I will add another point. Micromanaging does nobody any good and is especially harmful during delegating tasks. If you are micromanaging your employee for tasks that you have delegated them, both of you will get frustrated. Your employee will get frustrated because they are unable to do the work without you breathing down their neck. And secondly, you will be frustrated because the entire purpose of you delegating work is to get it into their lap, and you are bringing it back into your fold. So keep that in mind. That's it for this section, a very brief section on making the assignment. In the next talk, we'll speak about monitoring the assignment. Thank you.